Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The year is 2114. The 7th of August, the Commonwealth of United Stars stands at a standstill against its opponents. The Swarm, taken over Tau Ceti, Wolf 359, now renamed to Acheron. Will they continue their advance onwards, or have we slowed and blunted the nose enough for them to back off in the short term? In today's episode, we're going to be focusing on increasing our defensive capabilities while colonizing alternative avenues away from the Swarm and building up our defense and military-industrial complex to ensure that we can defeat the enemy forces. Now, before we get into today's video, if you are interested in seeing more content like this, you want to support the channel, consider leaving a like, commenting, subscribing. It's free, it helps me out, and the more you do so, the more niche content like this will get out to more and more people, and the more content I will be able to make. Now, if you want to become a member as well, you can do so. Financially supporting me is the biggest thing, and if you do that, you get access to earlier videos before they're released, usually 12 hours earlier, though sometimes a little bit less. It depends on my release schedule, and more. So, in the last episode, if we go over to Tau Ceti here, ladies and gentlemen, we fought the enemy. Well, in the two episodes ago, we fought the enemy. We took severe casualties. We then retreated through the Tau Ceti jump point back to Beta Antilliae. And we have decided that this is the place where we will make our stand. And we launched mines, we brought destroyers, and we've set up orbital defense monitoring platforms in preparation for the enemy forces. So, one thing that I do want to make a note of is that someone did say in the last episode that the mines won't work because they don't have active sensors on the warheads themselves, and you are correct. So, all these mines are useless. However, they are nice little distractions, I guess. So, what I have done is I'm going to begin researching, and I've set this up off screen. I'm going to begin researching into a new mine warhead, which should replace everything that we need. So there we go, mine warhead. That will take some time. We need to add some labs. That'll take March of 2115. So my vision for this defense is going to be mine set up around here, laser platform set up maybe here, 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 and here, and then various defense hangar stations that can send in immediate quick response forces to plug any holes that do obviously appear. Now, we have our orbital defense monitors currently set at the jump point, relatively close in. They'll be able to fire anything that does come through, and they'll be able to tell us anything that comes through. Most of our naval forces took a pretty big beating, and I think that we need to reevaluate our capabilities, right? Reevaluate the roles of our ships. So, we have frigates, obviously. Now, frigates are acting as close-in colony defense support. I want to advance this role towards a more patrol-based, more raider defense, singular role in that regard, and away from the current role that they have, which is very quick, fast response. And then I want our destroyers to be have more firepower, but be kind of the picketing and patrolling forces, and more high intensity conflict areas. And then I want light carriers, and I want cruisers to be more of our mainstay fleet, and then eventually battleships. Okay. To do this, we're going to need to increase our industrial base, and that is why I'm going to order up for the immediate. Two immediate things to happen. One, I'm going to increase the tonnage on this yard to 20,000 tons immediately. I'm going to increase the tonnage on this yard to 15,000 tons. I'm going to increase the tonnage on this yard to 10,000. Not 10,000 tons, I'm going to add an extra slipway, actually. The frigates, I'm going to add an extra slipway to that. And then we also were talking about our new orbital defense platform, the Axolotl, which we're currently processing and researching that being fire control, which will be done in December, which we can then begin construction of. In advance of that, I'm going to basically, what I'm going to do is to increase our production of components and of ships. I'm going to pre-build the necessary weapon systems that we're going to be needing to put on it. So we're going to go into components. I'm going to take off, I think, 20% from there. Take this off, and so we can have a look at what we need. So we need ultraviolet laser, we need gaseous fission reactors, we need an active search sensor. Those are the main components that are going to be on that vessel. So I'm going to order 6 of these to be built. 20%, 6. Then I want the twin turrets. So if we go into here, that'll be under twin 20 centimeter turrets. I want to probably have, so we have 2 per, let's have 12 of those built. And then finally we want the gaseous fission reactors, which are going to be over here. Let's get like 50 of those built and underway. And the purpose of this, as I said, is to ensure that we have enough of them going on. The next thing that I'm going to do is, if we have a look at most of our destroyers, right, we're using the these gas core engines. We're using the newer nuclear gas core engine EP500s. We're using many different kinds of engines, and we've got a splish splash, so I want to standardize that. But suffice it to say, what I essentially want to do here is begin a mass construction of those engines to reduce overall costs for construction and mainly time savings, right? So we're going to order up, I think, 16 of these engines. Now that is for 2 Starfall destroyers each. So that's 8 destroyers worth of engines. So I'm going to order that up to be produced as well. Now, our 2 destroyer squadrons located here, Destroyer Squadron 1, Destroyer Squadron, and then also the Sulfur. The Sulfur is getting, I believe, tugged out of here, if I do remember myself correctly. Yeah, it's getting tugged out. Destroyer Squadron 1 is currently sat over here with the frigates kind of waiting. What we're waiting for is, I believe, try this with our ship. I want to get this Barbarossa moved over, and that's going to take some time, of course. I need a new tug to do that, which I don't have available. But based on my feeling at the moment, I'm going to order... Let me just have a look at our destroyer squadron. Really cool. Okay, so these guys have about quite a bit of time left. We need to wait for refueling first. And I believe our fuel... Yeah, you're going to come back. Our frigates are going to stay in the area, probably. They'll be on constant watch at this jump point, but ideally I don't really want a lot of ships in this area, because that's going to be using a lot of supplies, a lot of maintenance supplies and whatnot, and it's going to be quite expensive. In terms of mining and getting resources over there, we need to set up transports for San Martin. And then also we're going to be moving mines over to Nueva Belize. So I'm going to detach a freighter. We're going to rename this to Extra System Mineral Transport Squadron 2. And I'm going to also put in here 61 Cygni to send to Alpha Centauri. Okay, Centauri, we're going to put that into mineral transport, and then I'm going to order that to go to Cygni, go to San Martin, and then you're going to be basically used to move resources back and forth. We're willing to expand our mining capacity because we are going to be running out a lot of resources there. So far, one of those resources is going to be iridium. Iridium specifically because we are kind of going through that quite significantly. We're also going through a lot of gallicite and a lot of uranium. In fact, our uranium stockpile is the most concerning. Luckily, there is a lot of uranium located on Nueva Belize, so I'm going to make it a priority to begin to continue our colonization of Nueva Belize. Now, we have on Earth, not on Earth, on Alpha Centauri, 5,000 infrastructure. So I'm going to demand that another 3,000 infrastructure be sent to Nueva Belize immediately, and we are going to be supplying that. So let's supply to 3,880. Now, I believe we are also moving over infrastructure to San Martin, and we're going to be moving infrastructure all over the place. But I'm going to also put in our federal freighters, or I guess our normal freighters, and I'm going to rename this to Freighter Squadron 8. 50 kiloton, and we're going to move that over to here. Then we're going to begin loading up infrastructure. on Griffin. Let's head that over to Cygni, unload that onto Nueva Belize, and then head back to Alpha Centauri, and then refuel, and then cycle those orders accordingly. Now, in terms of protecting our convoys in that area, we should have plenty enough detection capability around. Now, 61 Cygni Deep Space Defense Station, you don't have a frigate squadron anymore. So I'm actually going to pull these guys back to refuel from stationary tankers, resupply, and you are going to join us as a subfleet. Because we want them to be in the area, we want them to be safe and secure. And then those other frigate squadrons we can also move about, obviously. We had a lot of frigates, but obviously now that's changed somewhat. We also need to bring a lot of those survivors home that were saved. We can see there's 405 survivors on those ships. Looking for Attila 2, it's completed orders and stationed at JP1 jump point. So you guys are just going to be awaiting, as I said, that tanker. Now the tanker is arriving back. Means supplies, so it's repairs. Okay, everything looks good. The true site requires new orders because that was the ship that we sent into the combat area for its jump capability. We're going to send her over to, let's have a look at the galactic map. Galactic map is telling us, let's do Struve 2398. Now, another thing I'm going to just check out is Lysander. Are we building Lysander? Yes, we are. We'll have the Starfall's done November. Again, construction rates are a bit less than I would immediately like. Special survey completed of 114 Herculeus. Who is in 114 Herculeus? You are. Go through that jump point. Base facility construction completed. Now we're doing construction of gaseous fission reactors. Z Leporus, another empty system. Construction efforts. Yeah, we're continuing. No one used construction, it looks like, and we are again going to be building as many of those up as possible. Then we can begin mass construction efforts where possible, as well as stated. Now, a lot of this faff is the crew stuff, then also the admin commands. So tug operations and merchant marine, they need to be reassigned properly. So reassign merchant marine tug operations. There we go. Tug squadron 1 completed orders. So you should have arrived. Now what I'm going to have you do is grab the Barbarossa. Which should be under... Where would that be under? Oh, it's already been moving. That's fantastic. You need to begin stabilization points onto EQ Pegasi, though. Complete orders, so that is going to be we're going to set up our mineral transportation. So you're going to load our minerals until full. Take that over to Alpha Centauri, and then unload all minerals, and then refuel, and then cycle those orders accordingly. Deposits of tritanium have exhausted. Now, we should have plenty of deposits of tritanium around, if I remember myself correctly. If we go to Mineral Survey, we go to tritanium. Tritanium is going to be an important resource for us. Tau Ceti has titanium. Basilisk C has a lot of titanium, so that is here. So, yeah, we'll be able to send that tritanium outwards to where we need to send it to. The Hephaestus has arrived at Griffin. What I'm going to do again is I'm going to load up the fighters. So we've got 15 of these guys. I'm going to have them join up as land as a squadron on the Hephaestus. And then I'm going to have the Hephaestus move back over to Beta Antillier, back over to the Tau Ceti jump point, and we're just going to dump another 15 of these monitors on there. For defensive purposes. Frigate Squadron just completed orders. You're carrying infrastructure. Just unload that infrastructure there for now, please. I believe that was because I wanted to do some other stuff. Now, Destroyer Squadron 1, you can begin your refueling efforts. I'm going to detach these frigates, and I'm just going to have the Destroyer Squadrons begin their refueling from the from the fuel support squadron. Squadron 1. Okay, we have fuel across. We're going to send you back to Alpha Centauri, and you're going to refuel, resupply, load ordnance. And then the frigate flotilla, how much fuel do we have left in the tanker? Tanker, we have 1.1 million litres of fuel left, so you're going to have to head back to Alpha Centauri, refuel accordingly. I also want to check out our current defense capabilities in terms of in-system here. So, Signet Defense Station. You're going to need a refuel shortly, so we will get you a refuel soon. We're going to need to cycle refuel orders, really. Yeah. And then we're also going to need a refuel and a maintenance supply assistance over there. So that'll take some time, of course. New jump point found. There's a new jump point as well, just there. Now in November, completed the production of gaseous fission reactors. Good. And then blanked has arrived. Now that doesn't really have any purpose now because, again, we don't have the proper mines actually set up correctly. So there's not much that we can do just yet. Now we will have that beam fire control done shortly, which is going to be very, very important. Squadron 1 has now arrived at Griffin, and we are going to have them begin unloading all their survivors and then beginning a overhaul and then replacement crew. No, no replacement crew, but we're going to unload the survivors. We have a lot, 400 survivors, and have them begin their overhaul. Prices completed orders. So you are going to then drop your strike squadron. Attach. And I'm going to put these under, for now, the Coast Guard. So that is a total of 24 Balladeers. That'll just be sat there. And then I'm going to tell the Vistas to go back to Alpha Centauri, and you'll all be good. And we're going to get their strike squadron back to where it needs to go. Okay, shore leave. These frigates do need to unload people, of course, as well. That'll take some time. Did we get the beam fire control done? Yes, we did. Okay, beam fire control is done. That's fantastic. So what we can now do is we should be able to begin production of these new vessels. So ODP axolotl, add slip rate. We're going to use components and we're going to build as many of these as we can get. So that will take until July 2116 to get one axolotl out, and then we're going to be sending that over as needed. Also support squadron, you're going to head back to Beta Antilio. To the south side jump point, and you're going to be refuel. Convoy, that's device is done. Okay, True Sight is unable to carry out primary standing orders, so we're going to have you continue your survey efforts. And yeah, we kind of died down from the intense action. So I need you, the True Sight, to go into the new jump point that you found. Fantastic. Special survey completed. That's the Seeker. Seeker, why don't you also go through that jump point? The Owl and the Valiant complete their overhauls. The system of Epsilon Eridani. Oh, this is a very interesting system. We've got 2 nitrogen oxygen worlds here. Let's see if there's any aliens. Hope not. Okay, that mine will be done shortly. These will be done this year. This will also be done this year. We're adding slipways to this. These are getting upgraded in terms of their tonnage capacity. We also need more infrastructure just moved everywhere, to be honest. But we are starting to mine resources up, which is good. Looks like this is an empty system. How far away is this? Is Epsilon Eridani from Alpha Centauri? About 10 billion kilometers. It's not that far away in terms of actual distance. Like, okay, let me figure that out actually. So if I told the destroyer squadron, right, or the supply squadron and whatnot, if I told them, if I told you guys to go to danger rating, assume completely uncapable. If I told you to go to Epsilon Eridani, that would take you 66 days. That's not too bad, actually. Now, there's a lot of areas to cover with sensors or defense stations, but if there are good resources in Epsilon Eridani, then I might be very much interested in that, because there are 2 terrestrial planets here, and they have relatively low colony costs. You would just need to increase the oxygen supply on this world in particular. You increase the oxygen supply and a little bit of water, and then that would be a good world. So, depending on the minerals, this might definitely look like something that we want to be looking at colonizing when we can. Now, the Vigilance, we're going to have her go over to, let me have a look on the map. 54 Piscuum, how about that one? Yeah, it's only been 15 years in game, which is quite interesting. Only been 15 years. Okay, what are we finding? Okay, that's the fuel squadron. I'm going to have our frigates then begin refueling. Refuel from stationary tankers. There we go. Insufficient deployment time. Increase that by that much. Okay, you have max fuel now. We're going to send you back to Alpha Centauri. We're going to have you resupply, reload ordnance, begin overhaul, and unload survivors. Actually, unload survivors first. And you guys also need to refuel if possible from that tanker. Good. I'm going to send you back to Alpha Centauri. Refuel, load ordnance, begin overhaul. And then we'll sort out the defensive situation a little bit later. But I am kind of abandoning a lot of ships from that area. But we'll see. TG Caravan 2, you don't have enough to move it. How far away are you? You're 587 million kilometers from the Tau Ceti area. Do I have a tanker that can handle that? Probably not. How much fuel do you need? A lot. Fine, we will go back to Sydney. Refuel from Colony, then go back to Beta Antillier, and then we're going to join the... join and refuel them. And we'll just cancel that order for now. Okay. All of our ships are now returning. Alpha Centauri is going... Oh, the Seeker is going to need a new order. We're going to send the Seeker off to probably Gamma Carinae. I would imagine that's going to be the next area that we'll send the Seeker off to. Let's see how we have. There's 6 jump points in the system. It's a very busy system. Gravitational survey completed in Zeta Sextanus. So that is the Hotspur. Yeah, the Hotspur. Okay, then we find resources in here. So, Epsilon Eridani 2 carries with it 20 million tons of magnesium and then 31 million tons of that. We haven't surveyed Epsilon Eridani 3 yet, so we'll have to see. EV Lacerte, we got mountain, nitrogen, ammonia world, but nothing of too much importance there. Another Arethusa was built. We're going to need a lot more of those Arethusas, and in fact, we're going to need a lot more fuel harvesters as well. So if I have additional capacity soon, I'm going to use that for it. We should have the Starfalls coming up now, at the very least. Muscular system of 56 Chaos B. Nitrogen, oxygen, atmosphere, the world. Very interesting system, this. Research labs are available. What I really would love is if we could get some better engines. I think it's going to take a little bit too much time. But we do have those new warheads now done. So what I'm actually going to do then is we can begin development of the mine. But we're going to use a mine warhead instead, right? Use mine warhead and then separation range. The first stage... Oh, God. First stage, we want it to separate like 100,000 kilometers from the target. So it has to be... We'll separate 100,000 kilometers from the target. So that will detect the target. It will then separate the stage when it's within 100,000 kilometers. I think that'll work. Because we want to kind of stagger them, so they're not like... No, I think maybe 50,000 kilometers will be better, actually. Let's go for that. And then let's go Alpha... No, Charlie 1... M. Mine. Create. And then we're going to begin development of that immediately. So 5 labs can go into that. The rest of the labs can go into power propulsion technology. Okay. Very interested to see how Epsilon Aerodani turns out here. Very interested indeed. We found aliens. They are Rackers. More Rackers have been found. For the first time. 28,000 tons. 56 KSB. Now, how close are you to that system? Yeah, we're going to leave because they're going to have STOs and we don't want to lose the ship. So, the Seeker, where are you? Seeker, we're leaving. Back to Signy. It's possible. And then we're going to the designate 56 Chaos B. Where is Chaos B? Oh, it's over here. The system in Gamma Carinae is a big system that if we were able to control that system, that would be a very big deal for us, I think. Okay, so we're going to designate this as this is Kaboski aliens, but these are both Rackers, so I'm just going to designate that as Aranius, so that we know that these are Rackers. This is Swarm. And again, we'll continue on our colonization of this, but we didn't lose the ship at least. Okay, all those areas focus just complete overhaul. And we are getting more infrastructure actually moved over to these places. And mine's also moved over. So what I'm going to also do is we're going to send over the Belisarius. We're going to rename this to Intrasystem. Signy. And they are going to go to 61 Signy. Go to Nueva Belize. They will sort you out in a little bit. Now, San Martin has plenty of maintenance supplies, plenty of fuel supplies, which is good. We have plenty of maintenance supplies here, but we are starting to run a little bit low on fuel, at least there. So again, I probably want to increase the amount of fuel that we're going to be harvesting. Yeah, that tug squadron should have sorted itself out now. Yeah. So the tanker can leave. Go back to Alpha Centauri, and then these guys can go and finish. And we're going to... We're going to release the tracted ship, or the Barbarossa. Let me have a look at Beta Antillier. What's the distances? I would say about 500,000 kilometers away. So we're going to release treasure ships there, and then we're going to head to our Centauri and refuel. Yeah, very slow time to get it there, but then we can use that accordingly. JSS Attack 3, we can begin our stabilization efforts straight into EQ Pegasi, and then we can begin colonization into EQ Pegasi here shortly. Obviously, it's going to take some time. Do we have any commercial yards available? We do. I'm going to actually look at getting a like 50,000 ton yard because I want to get a jump stabilization ship that can actually move on its own. Just to reduce the annoyingness of that, I'd like to speed up our stabilization efforts if possible. The Seeker, after it came back from dealing with the Wreckers, needs some new orders. So we're going to send you back to Gamma Carinae. We're going to send you in and explore. Okay, we've left the Barbarossa here now. So what I'm then going to do is we're going to rename this to Tau Beta Antilliae Deep Space Defense Station. And I'm going to then have that moved into, where's the Coast Guard? Coast Guard. We're going to now make a new group. We're going to call this the Beta Antilliae Defense Forces. And we're going to put all the new stuff in it. So the Antilliae grid, there we go. And then I need to bring some frigates over there. So I should have some frigates. Oh, now, because we've got 3 frigates, I believe. So we're going to send 3 frigates to Base Antilliae. And we're going to join the subfleet with that. Production launch fire lasers completed on the Griffin. I'm also going to start building, if possible, box launchers. Lots of box launchers. Missile launcher box. Size 6 box launchers. We're going to build like 300 of them. 20%. And then we can just like replace things as needed, right? 100 kiloton freighter squadron. I'm not sure what you were moving exactly. I think you're probably moving mines. Yeah, I'd imagine so. Now, San Martin's starting to grow pretty well here. So I'm going to send over, I think, another 40 mines. Yeah, another 40 mines should do it. Load mine. Go to Cygni, unload. Go to Alpha Centauri, refuel, repeat this 9 more times. That'll take you about 1,000 days to do. Caravan complete orders as returned home. HMS Prince Consort and whatnot. Oh, they have joined, but we do need to obviously make sure that they have enough fuel. So I am going to dispatch this tanker. Once you've refueled, head over to Beta Antilliae and then join up with the defense station here, please. But now I feel a lot safer having these defense stations, but I'd really want to have that new stuff located there. Okay, you are little miles until full. Correct. You're going over here. You are going to load your minerals until full. Then you're going to unload your minerals here, and then you're going to refuel from colony, and then you're going to cycle those orders accordingly. There we go. I think that's where we leave the episode off. We've made some progress. We have set up our defenses a little bit more. We brought our ships back. We've got the survivors back. We've begun our colonization efforts towards other systems. And we're also making great strides in terms of rebuilding our naval forces with an effectiveness of another probably 7-8 destroyers in production. So I'll see you guys next time. Please like, comment, subscribe, and goodbye.